And hence, every researcher is having some basic or should keep in his mind that doing the research in a proper manner is a duty. Doing the research in a proper manner, in a particular manner, or in a very defined manner is the duty. The researcher should have, or a researcher must have its integrity. He must be accountable for his findings, for his thoughts, or for his say activity. It should be a true altruism because there should not be any alteration in the research or in his research finding. He should not alter his research. Sorry, he should not alter his research in any way because if anything happens, if any plus or minus happens in his data, he should not alter that things because whatever the data you are presenting, it should be a true data, and the researcher should try to achieve the excellence. If the researcher is going to try to achieve his excellence, not necessary that he should have a very big goal or very vast objectives, very few or limited objective. One or two objective or three objectives are more sufficient. But he should try to excel in that. Not only the excel in getting or fulfilling that objective, but on the contrary, the researcher should get that skilled. He should be skilled in that area, and then he should he should give the or he should make the skillful work of this of his achieved goal or his achieved skill and utilize it for the next generation or for next coming researcher. And a very important thing that the researcher should have, that he should respect to all his colleagues, all the thanks, all the fraternity of all the research, because the respect is such a thing that comes if you have these things. Definitely, the people working in that area, whether it may be a very junior or maybe a senior or the super senior or the professor or the eminent professor, they are going to help you in all aspects. They are all the people, they are ready to help. Remember a very simple thing I would like to share with you, that if you interact with the people in a very respectful manner, definitely all the researchers, they are a good helper. They try to help each and every person. Say there are nowadays there are very lot of websites like Google Scholar or the ResearchGate or even in the LinkedIn or on the Facebook. If you post any of these things, definitely the people who are working in that area, definitely they will try to solve your problem. They are trying to solve our problem, and this is how one have to inculcate all these uh, say things in all the research. That is the duty, integrity, accountability, altruism, excellence, and the respect. If you have all these things in you, definitely you will going to become a good researcher, or you are going to become a good researcher. So the honesty, moral, integrity, principle, honor, choice, fairness, and all these things are nothing but these are the ethical things. So when you talk about all these things, one have to think about the each of these having the value, the excellency, honesty, trusty, then integrity, ethical teamwork, innovation, quality conduct, consistency, commitment, accountability, all these things, they all together forms the moral. So the materialization of the value has lowered down the moral of the human society. Nowadays, everyone is going against the materialization. And that's why the moral of the society is lower down. Professor Mackenzie has stated this thing because earlier, say, if you go to the earlier research, take an example of the Galileo or the Aristotle or the Darwin or the Anton Hook Leeuwenhoek. What the resources these people were having? These people, they were having a very limited resources, very limited resources. That the Leeuwenhoek, who invented the first microscope, and nowadays, what type of microscope we are having? We are having the microscope which can magnify the image up to 1,000 times. Electron microscopy. The earlier microscope, the Leeuwenhoek, was able to visualize or able to magnify the image up to 4x and maximum up to 40x. But see the resource what he has at that time and the resources what we are having nowadays, there is a vast difference. There is a vast difference in those resources and the knowledge which we are generating and the knowledge which was earlier generated is very big. The famous botanist Carl Linnaeus, who has discovered so many plants, almost 250,000 plants at that time. And we, in our entire life, we are not knowing how much plants are there around our campus or around our house. So this is the thing that the consistency and commitment has created all such great works. But we people are lacking behind this because of the consistency and a true commitment. And hence, I suggest you people that please be honesty, be trusty, and be consistent and commit and have commitment to fulfill your work. So this is the general flow chart of any research work. That is defining the problem, reviewing the concept and the theories, then the finding, formulation of the hypothesis, then collecting the data, analysis data, and interpretation of the data, and so on and so on. And finally, coming with the uh, publication of the data. So interpretation and the report. So the as I had asked you that why you are coming for the research. This is the thing that the person is coming to the research, that is to fulfill or having a drive of the research, becoming an expert in your area, making a contribution to your chosen field. It may be a long-term career goal, improving and challenging the knowledge, enjoyment of the subject matter, demonstration of the intellectual potential, and the developing important transferable skills. So if you achieve all such things, then and then, or the person who is coming for the research because of all such things, and that's why we have some research objectives or the objectives of the research ethics. The first objective of the research ethics is to guard or to protect human participants, their dignity, rights, and welfare. Many of the people who are working in the drug development or in the pharmaceutical field or in the other field, they have to think on the whatever our product is there, that is to guard the protect or the human participants, their dignity, rights, and welfare. Then to make the sure that the research is directed in a manner that assists welfare of the person, group, or the civilization as a whole. Already we know that in 2020 there was COVID, and it is said that it is the outcome of the research, particularly one of the lab from the China, and we have suffered a lot because that virus is released in the environment by some means, and we all had suffered the things already. We have witnessed the curve. So it is for the welfare of the person, the human community, the civilization, or the whole world. And the third objective is to inspect particular research event, the scheme for their ethical reliability. Because considering the issues such as the controlling risk, protection of privacy, and progression of the informed consent, one have to take into the consideration all these three major or the three objectives of the research while doing any of these things. I know that we all are concerned with, we all are doing the research, particularly the microbiology people. When they are doing the research on the microorganism, there is a chance of getting this microorganism exposed in the environment by one or other means, and the entire community around that laboratory or in that working place, or maybe the town or the village is going to come into the into the contact of these organisms, and definitely for this one have to dispose it very properly. The disposal system, the standard procedure is to be followed for dispose of such organism. Not only to the microbiology, I am not saying to the microbiology, but it is applicable to all. Suppose the zoologist people, they are doing some research on the animals, or some botanist, or the people who are working in the plant genetic engineering. If they are doing some research, or particularly with the treatment like a mutagenic treatment or the radiation treatment, or use of some chemical for changing the genetic makeup of the organism, that is modified GMOs like organism. So while doing these things, one have to be a very crucial that whatever the findings are there, until and unless the ethical approval is not there, don't release it into the environment. We have to take the permission for releasing such organisms in the environment. So ethical legal permissions are required for that. Friends, I know you are very cautious about your research, you are doing the research in a proper manner, but still, when you are disposing of such organism, please follow the proper procedure for disposing of these organisms, because you are dealing with the organism. And very say we are dealing with the life science, the organism, either the cell, either the organ or the organism, or the group of the organism like a society or community or the society. We are dealing with such organisms, and these live organisms, when they are exposed in the environment, they behave differently. So it's my request, or it's my urge to you people, that while doing your research, or while working on your research, please make sure that you are following all the ethical protocols and the precautionary protocols while handling such organisms, or while releasing such organism in the environment, or in the even working in your laboratory. So the importance of research ethics is to respect and cause no harm to the participant. As a sign of respect to the other researcher, it is the professional requirement, and failing to conduct research ethically results into the say dismiss or the rejected of the research communities there. So this is about the general in research. But friends, not only the research is not only working with the cell or working with the tissue or working with some group of animal or the organism is not like that. But we have to maintain our research ethics in all those area also. That is the authorship, plagiarism, pre-review, research with animals, research with human subject, and research misconduct. Friends, nowadays every one of you might have come across any of these things, particularly the authorship. Everyone is interested to publish his or her data in a very good reputed journal, a periodical, or a magazine, or nowadays on the various social platforms also. So when you talk about the authorship, it should be a very precise. The authorship should be given to the person who has really contributed in that area or in that research only. Don't give the authorship to the person who has not contributed. Just because of the sake of the name, many people, sorry, many people they are giving the authorship just for the sake of the name. That the big stalwart name is there, then there is a chance of your research article is going to be accepted. No, friends, it's not like that. The authorship is to be given to the person or the group of the people who has really contributed in that research in one or other way. Not necessary that all the people they had worked actually in the laboratory. Some might have worked in the field, some might have contributed in the other way, like the statistical data or making it improving the research article. So the authorship is to be given to the people only who had contributed, not to the person or to the people just he is your boss or you are going to please your senior. It's not like that. Don't do. Give the authorship to the person who has really contributed. The second thing is the plagiarism. Now, in the plagiarism, many people or many times it happens that now we have very good type of softwares that earlier days we used to type the data on the typewriter or then the computers has are evolved and we have to type it. But a very good thing is there in the computer, particularly in the electronic media, that a copy and paste. And most of the time, we we avoid the typing. Instead of the typing, we go for the copying the material and pasting it. Many times it happens that in many of the journals I have gone through many of the journals. I had been the reviewer of some of the journal, and I found that the plagiarism is there. The same abstract or the same content is being copied from the other, and it is there. Friends, as the science and technology, particularly the communication technologies evolved, nowadays the plagiarism there is a softwares available to check the plagiarism also. They are being evolved. So one can get the data from where it is being copied or where it is the unique data. So plagiarism is another area where the researcher is to be very cautious. Don't copy the data. Publish your original data, whatever the data is there, whatever your finding is there, publish as it is. Don't copy. Instead of copying, first of all, understand what that researcher has published, what he mean to say, and then try to write it in your own language, and then get it published. So it won't be the plagiarism. Plagiarism is just copying the material from one source and directly pasting into the other, or making making a new manuscript or new project report, or anything else. Then the pre-review. Many times it happens with the people who are doing the peer review. If their articles are not cited, if their research publications are not taken into consideration, they either avoid or they delay the publication of such manuscript received. So don't do that. When the peer reviewed is there, the two or three people, they are undergoing the review process, and if this is there, the blind pre-review is the preferred area for publishing your data, or for making your data more authenticate. Then research with the animals. You have to take all the necessary precautions while handling the animals. As we say that human being is also a social animal. We are also the animal. So same feelings are there with the animals undergoing the research. Maybe a Drosophila, maybe a earthworm, maybe a small E. coli also. It is having some, the organism having some sense. The plants, they are having some sense. Every organism. So while doing all these things, one have to be a very, very crucial. Research with the human subjects is already well known, and research misconduct. Friends, it's my urge, don't do any misconduct in the research. Doesn't matter whatever the wrong observations you are getting. That not necessary that all the time you should get the activity. Say people who are working in the deciding the, or in finding the active compound from the any plant source, or from animal source, or from microbial source. And many times it happens that at the lower concentration the results are not there, and so they go for the higher concentrations, and as they go for the higher concentration they find that the results are there. But friends, the lower concentrations are also equally important, because that is going to be define the milestone of your finding research. That is the either LC50 or you are defining LD50. In that case, the lower values as well as the higher values are also important. But many times it happens that we try to publish only the important values or important results only. Don't hide the research which is negative. Because if you are hiding the negative research, definitely the people who, the next generation who is going to work on that, or the person who is going to work on the same issue, he might be he might be losing his precious time for coming to the objective, or for coming to that particular area. So if you are doing the research, don't uh, don't hide your negative research, because negative research is also research. It's not only that only we require the positive research. The positive research itself is a very good. Definitely, it is going to give to the society or to the next generation. But definitely, the negative research or whatever the findings are there, not necessarily they may be a very good one, but they are important one. So every research or every observation is very, very important. And one have to consider that each and every observation is important. So if you follow all such, definitely the your findings, that is finding, will be in a very good manner or in a good. So I will. This is the publication ethics, that what objectives or the what standard you have to follow. The publication ethics with a high quality or scientific publications, credit to the author for their ideas, public trust in the finding, in the scientific finding. When you talk about the publication ethics, the publication ethics itself, everyone wish to publish his or her finding in a very good or quality research journal. Definitely. But the thing is that the good and quality research journal, it requires a very good quality data. So when the good quality data is required, try to generate the data in such a form that it should not be modified. Well, there should not be no modification in the data. Make the data, the plan the experiment in such a way that you can get a very good and assured data. Try to publish such data in such data, then give the credit for the author for their ideas, because it is not like that the person has worked on that, but similarly the person has given the idea, or the ideas are also important. Once the idea is there, definitely the idea is going to be work, or you are going to work on the idea. So the person has given the idea is equally creditable for the authorship than public trust in the scientific finding, because whatever the finding you publish, the public has trust on that, and based on that, many times the entrepreneur, or many times the investor, they come to you that yes, this is the finding and we are interested to develop the product from this, or we are interested to set up a industry, or maybe a small scale industry, or any say raw material production industry, based upon the data. Because whatever the data you are giving, that data is now the public data, is going to the public domain. And when it goes to the public domain, definitely the people who are doing all these things, are uh, particularly in the sector like uh, entrepreneurships, they are coming to us for the data, for the authenticity, and for making the product from that. And that's why one have to be very, very crucial while publishing our data, because it is the